Lucy, you touched on the levy, and when the levy was introduced, the reforms took place. You had to go and talk to the leaders within the organisation and talk about the impact and talk a little bit about some of the opportunities that the levy presented. I mean, obviously, being NHS it's a very large employer. I mean, some of the numbers are 200 million plus in terms of going into the pot. I think it's probably one of the biggest in terms of paying into the levy. How does that work, and what are the current sort of opportunities, the challenges? How is the levy sort of fitting in within the organisation? And a lot of organisations naturally are now looking at their supply chain, production transferring, looking at some of the opportunities to actually make the most of the levy. So talk to us a little bit about some of those sort of opportunities and challenges.
Yeah, so initially our levy spend was quite slow because we had to do procurement, we had to kind of raise the profile and make people understand really what the apprenticeships were, but now we're on track potentially to be overcommitted on our levy next financial year because it's really growing. I think still, we do support primary care in terms of levy transfers. We have got the ambulance services, for example, London Ambulance in particular. They've exceeded their levy pot every year since the start, and they receive transfers in from other sectors in terms of like corporate social responsibility. So that's really good that people want to support the NHS in terms of achieving their apprenticeship numbers. We hear a lot in the press about all these millions of unspent levy, but I don't think that's the case, certainly with the NHS. We do profile the spend and support with levy transfers as well into kind of primary care and into social care as well. But we're definitely on track to kind of overcommit. And that's even before we launch the medical doctor, which we know there's going to be a huge interest in when that starts in 2024. But I think it's been a journey, and I think we really have worked with trusts. When we first started, kind of the apprenticeships were tagged onto someone else in HROD's day job, and we had to really make sure that they understood that it is a full-time job. And some of these apprenticeship leads now in trusts, the trust could employ 20,000 people, and you might have one, maybe two, maybe a small team in terms of the apprenticeship. So that's a big responsibility, making sure that people know what's available, that you're using them to recruit new staff, but also to upskill existing staff. So it is hectic. There's a lot to do. But we do think it is growing really well. We've got a great bunch of dedicated people in trusts now that are kind of flying the flag and making sure that people can embrace apprenticeships when they need to.
Canny Conversation Podcast Series 5.